Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick the Quant, and we got another post for today's highest mathematical edge pick. Yesterday, gave you guys the Colorado Rockies on the money line as a massive underdog, but we limited the risk to 1% due to the fact that they were such a big underdog. Unfortunately, I lost 3-1, but if you, like I always say in my videos, look at my X account, you would have also known that we did a similar play on the San Francisco Giants money line last night, taking them 2 days in a row, fading the Dodgers. The Dodgers were like, I think, minus 330 or something like that, and the Giants won. So between that two split, it was still largely profitable, and we only risked 1% because, again, you have to be conscious of the fact that you're going against such a big favorite. It is quite a long shot pick. So before I get into today's pick, as always, if you want access to all of my free sports betting big plays, you can go to my X account at NickTheQuant44. That way you're not just being limited to this one pick that I do analysis on here on the YouTube account. Or when you go to my Instagram, I really only post about the highest mathematical edge pick. And then I'll post daily results as well for transparency. My X account, though, is where I run my model and bam, I'm just spitting picks out. I'm talking about the expected value, the risk. If I'm doing anything outside of the model, like limiting the risk, things like that, it's all my X account. So please check that out. Saying that, after yesterday's results, the highest mathematical edge picks now are 5 and 6, but profiting 2.27 units. Again, just reinforcing the great benefit of understanding how to risk your bets relative to the probabilistic edge you have, denoted by if your bet's positive expected value, and then using things like Kelly criterion to help us risk or to help us size our risk. So saying that, ironically, today's pick is the San Francisco Giants money line. I've taken them 2 days in a row now against the against the Dodgers. They're another massive underdog again tonight. They're currently up 2-0 in the series. Dodgers shouldn't get swept by the Giants at home, but I'll get into the math behind this pick. But before we get into that, I'm going to talk about the odds I got it at, the expected value, and the risk. So the odds I got the Giants at are at plus 199. My model reads them at a 49.09% probability. So just like yesterday, my model is still saying, okay, the Giants are still massively undervalued in the market. So this denotes a massive plus 46.78% expected value on the Giants. Kelly criterion, a sixth Kelly, should I say, would recommend that I risk close to 4% of my bankroll on this match. It did the same thing yesterday across the Rockies and the Pirates as well, or the Rockies and the Giants as well. I didn't do that. I limited my risk to 1% because when I'm taking these massive underdog plays, especially in the long run, they are long shot plays. It could be cool if on a singular game basis it wins, like I went 1-2 yesterday, but in the long run, like Vegas isn't going to be producing minus 300 plus lines and have them only hit 50 or 55% in the long run. Like they're hitting well over 70% in the long run. So you have to understand that. Which Kelly criterion does take that into account. But what I'm trying to say is my model seeing the Giants in this matchup today are 49.09% probability does not mean that in the long run, Vegas is just producing minus 300 lines that are really below 60% every time. That wouldn't make any sense for them if they were doing that. On a singular basis, though, especially in baseball where you have series, you can really take advantage of these pricing inefficiencies and then just size your bets to where it does benefit you in the long run. So if my probabilities were perfect, then yeah, I would risk the 4% or whatever it is on the Giants here because I know the probabilities are perfect. But number one, it's way too early in my betting career to assume that. There's just massive data accumulation, whether it's across my proprietary MLB model, my proprietary college football model, basketball, whatever. And what I mean by that is the model stays the same, but it calibrates constantly and it gets fed data constantly. So, years from now, I have a model that has thousands upon thousands upon thousands of data points. Once you get to a point like that, absolutely Kelly criterion is really good for you. But if you're still early in the game and you're dealing with, triple digit type sample sizes per probability predictions, across your distributions, it can definitely be quite aggressive. So that's why I'm limiting the risk on this play today to 1%. So saying that, I'm going to get into the math now. I just wanted to be transparent with you guys on that. So as I talked about in my previous videos, my interior models to my ensemble model are calibrated based on their empirical win rates. So before I get into this, Hypothetically, if a certain model spits out Team A to have a 75% win probability, but that actually is only winning 57% of the time, the calibrated probability is 57%. And then my output gets calibrated as well based on how the outputs actually perform. But right now, because of some recent changes I made in my model, I'm currently not doing that because I just need to be collecting data before I can actually calibrate the outputs. So right now I'm just doing the calibrated interior models, and I calibrate based off of where their market regions are at. So getting into that, Model 1 has the Dodgers at a 60%. Model 2 has the Dodgers at a 0%, but that doesn't mean it says the Dodgers have a 0% winning probability. What that means is that up to this point in the season, predictions that the Dodgers align with currently have not won. So it is a contrarian signal, but the sample size is not great. So the influence on the actual probability, the total probability, is very small, but still it is accounted for. Model 3 has the Dodgers at a 56.75% probability. Model 4 has the Dodgers at a 67.92% probability. Model 5 has the Dodgers at a 57.78. Model 6, a contrarian position, Dodgers a 46.03. This is a position that has been killing favorites all MLB season. It's been really fascinating to watch. The Dodgers were in the same exact position yesterday. The Pirates were in it, so the Pirates did win. The Dodgers have been in this position now for the past 3 games, and they just dropped 2 in a row to the Dodgers. So the position is very interesting. It's a position where a lot of money is on a big favorite, and mathematically they have a crap ton of edge. They should definitely win mathematically, but for whatever reason, they just don't. The winning rate of this so far for the season is only a 46.03%. So it is something where Vegas is just raking, and there's a lot of sample size on this. So something like this does contribute to the final probability quite heavily, whereas earlier, that Model 2 where it's, the Dodgers 0%, the sample size is so small for that because it's not a common range that's predicted that, yeah, it's accounted for, but it probably has less than like a 1, max 2% influence on the actual total probability. So again, this is all about where they align relative to the actual outcome. So think of it like signals. Model 7 has the Dodgers at a 55.56. Model 8, Dodgers a 44.44. Again, Model 6 and Model 8 have a lot of correlation, actually. It's pretty interesting. They both bank off of the same output in a way. They just produce probabilities differently. So Model 6, the Dodgers aligned in that heavily contrarian position against favorites. And then that correlated output that Model 8 uses, and then it uses a little bit of a different mathematical structure. It accounts for some different information. The Dodgers then were essentially doubled down to be in another contrarian position, but that position does not have anywhere near the same amount of sample size as Model 6 does, so it doesn't influence the probability as much as Model 6 does. And then Model 8, my baseball's in the way, has the Dodgers at a 60%. That's a pretty strong performing range, but again, still relative to how large of a favorite they are. You can argue that literally all these probabilities are contrarian, in the sense that not contrarian to winning, but contrarian to their price. And I always preface that. So now, getting into the ensemble output initially, has the Dodgers at a 52.92. Yesterday, I think they're like a 54. So pretty close. And then now calibrating based off that, you have to account for the market region that the Dodgers are in. Just like yesterday, the Dodgers are actually in the same exact market region that after updating for yesterday's info, this is a lot of sample size as well. This is just market data every single day, clean. Up to this point in the season, this market region only has a 47.14% hit rate. So this is largely contrarian, again, especially to the Dodgers in this price, but it's contrarian overall to the market as far as being correlated to losses more than wins. But for a team like the Dodgers, who are such a heavy favorite tonight, were such a heavy favorite yesterday and the day before, they've dropped 2 in a row, and again, they find themselves in this contrarian position. It is quite interesting to see, but again, they're this large of a favorite for a reason. They have one of the best bullpens in baseball. They have better pitching. They're home. They're clearly mathematically significantly favored than better than the Giants. But you take this into account, you can see that there is no financial edge in betting on the Giants here, whatever way you cut it. Even if they win tonight, you make, I think, today they're I think like minus 250, minus 260. You know, whatever you put down, divide by 2.6, and that's your payout. And like, there's no way that across 5-10 games, if there's a lineup similar to this, you will not be making positive ROI. Absolutely not. So that's why we're on the Giants today. So saying that, lock this pick in. Let's get back in the winning column. But as always, if you want access to all of my picks, not just to be limited to just this one, please check out my X account at NickTheQuant44 and my Instagram account for daily results, recaps, and more of a deep dive, I guess, if you will. Speaking from like an infographic sense on the highest mathematical edge picks. My Instagram is NickTheQuant. So thank you for watching and have a good day, guys.